market, and that's what you think of when you think of marketing. And do this for each of your different topics. So for ethics, maybe you'd imagine somebody being very ethical, like maybe a hippie, and a fluffy rabbit, because that's along the theme of being very ethical. And you can imagine the hippie and stroking the fluffy rabbit, and like that's an image that you naturally think of when you think of ethics. So the way that it works is, as soon as you look at the image, that image in your mind then translates back into the information. So if you've got a picture of Jamie Oliver down a market being all apples and pears and like a cheeky chappy, then as soon as you think of that image, you think, oh yeah, that's to do with marketing. Now, do that for each of the different topics, each of the different main topics. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go into detail and do the same thing but in depth with each of those topics. Once you've done that, the next part of the system is to systematically review this information. So once you've broken down your syllabus, you've figured out where you're going to store all of this information, and you've created images, so like you've created a story with each part of your syllabus. And the next bit is you're going to systematically review this information. And what this part of the puzzle does is it takes information that, sure, you've just remembered something for the short term, and it converts it into your long-term memory. So it's a really systematic approach to reviewing information, and it's something called spaced repetition. So what that means is you review something a set number of times, and it shifts something from your short-term to your long-term memory. And what it does is it means that you know whether or not you know something, and that ultimately just builds your confidence. And it also streamlines your revision process. So rather than thinking, right, I'm gonna need to read the same thing maybe every day for the next 3 weeks, and then hopefully this information is going to stick in my head. No, you don't need to do that. Like that is the old way of learning things. So this system really simply structures how and when you review information, so that whole process is streamlined. And once you've done that, the final part of the system is to share what you're doing with other people, because this will completely transform how effectively, how quickly you learn information, especially if what you're doing is you're learning a large body of information. Then if you share the stories that you're creating with other people, it will completely revolutionize the way that you learn, how much fun it is, how quickly you get this done. So what I want you guys to go out and do now is take your syllabus and break it down into its component parts. And the first thing I want you to do is create an image that you associate with each of the main topics, just as I described. So like with the marketing, you create an image; with ethics, you create an image. So whatever your syllabus is for your professional exam, break it down into its topics and create an image that represents each topic. So that's the first thing that I want you to do. The next thing that I want you to do is go out into the world and figure out where you're going to store this information. So let's say your syllabus has got 9 main topics. Go and find 9 large buildings that you don't need to be really familiar with them, but it helps. It just shortens your learning process. But go out and find 9 large buildings where you're going to store this information, and then join me for the next video and let me know down below. Just let me know in the comments section what you've come up with, and what your syllabus is, and what your story is, and what images you've come up with. And look forward to seeing you soon.